Hello and welcome. It's August. We've had a nice long rest, a bit of FIFA World Cup action in between. But now just sitting and looking forward to the start of the season, Mike. We're going to run over some of our college over-unders this year. One of our favorite pods, usually this one.
Yeah, well, we've actually got a fairly decent record in the college over/under spreads because some of the
Yep.
you just get. I don't know if it's maybe emotion or favoritism or whatever leans into some of these lines a bit more than it does the more cool-headed betting fields of the NFL. But there always seems to be some outliers every year that we like to point out. So yeah, we can have a look at them now. I think Stanford a couple of years ago
Yep.
was we called Stanford on the
Stanford
over.
was our best.
That was my
Yeah, just
favorite
a
one.
mere 2.5 wins. That one came in by October.
Yeah.
Florida State, the under. I mean, that one had come in already by September, I think, when Florida State fell on their face. I mean, you're right. There is the propensity for these teams to just go crazy in college, and picked at 75% last year. We only got Oregon wrong last year, so we've done well. Let's give ourselves a pat on the back there. Yeah.
Nice. Very
All
nice.
right, let's get into this then because we're going to start in the SEC. Debatable whether the SEC is still the premier division, but alas, we like one here, Mike, and it's going to be the Ole Miss. Have a look at the Ole Miss football schedule here in 26, and if we have a look at what their over under is here, it's 7.5. So we want them to win 8 games. We're going to start and be a bit positive here, and the reason for that is because they've got a very nice opening to the season here. They've got a neutral field game against the Louisville Cardinals before they take on Charlotte, and then they host LSU for the Kiffin return game under the lights at Oxford, Mississippi, and then the Gators, who have just been a terrible football team for a long time. So I like Ole Miss to go 4-0 here to start the year and really set themselves up for the future to get to that 8 wins. Trinidad Chambliss will return as a 5-year starter in college football. So yeah, I like this one a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I love that at LSU Kiffin Schadenfreude game. I think that just has an Ole Miss win all over it.
Yeah.
Potential banana skins, obviously Missouri. I know it's at
Hmm.
home, but the Tigers get these weird results in SEC play, and
They
then
run the ball well, Missouri.
yeah,
They're always tricky with that. Yeah.
Yeah, at Texas is not the easiest out, maybe, but we'll come on to Texas in a little bit. And I just like that. I
Hmm.
like them being at home to Auburn and Georgia as well. It just gives you a chance.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it does.
Even though Georgia, we probably expect them to win the SEC. I still think, I still think we'd rather play them at home than on the road for sure. So
Yeah.
yeah, I like this. I think there's eight. I think there's 8 winnable games there. We don't have we don't they don't have to they don't have to run the table and win the SEC. They just have to win 8 games. So I think there's a pretty steady
Hmm.
path for them to do that. The rivalry game isn't until right at the end of the season, so
Yeah,
they might even be sitting people by then. So who knows?
I think so. Yeah, I mean that's not much of a contest these days, unfortunately, since Mike Leach left Mississippi
But
State. They've
but
been
you,
pretty woeful themselves.
it always worries me a little bit when you get the big rivalry game in week 3 or something. That just always feels like a banana skin where
Yeah,
everybody
it's true.
everybody would love the Bulldogs to do it and beat Ole Miss, but it's the opposite. Everybody will want Ole Miss to beat LSU. So they can,
Yeah.
as you correctly said, they can ride that 4-0 start potentially into a good regular season.
Yeah, I think so. I think there'll be a solid defensive team with the head coach promoted from DC, putting his stamp on that program now, and then just let Chambliss cook on offense. They lost those receivers in the draft, but yeah, they've just got to win 8 games. That's the point. I think it's very doable. Even Oklahoma down there, they can see them winning at the Gaylord family Oklahoma Memorial Stadium. Why was that so funny? Oh, dear.
Gaylord fucker. Um, Yeah, no, I agreed. And your general theme, you can probably expand on a bit here about veteran quarterbacks as well as it's got to help with Trinidad Chambliss basically being a 25-year-old man here for the Rebels.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we won't go into it too much, but I like Boise to cover their 7.5 wins this year with 5-year starter Maddox Madsen back at the helm. I think that's another decent bet, but we won't go into detail on that because we want to stay in the SEC, and we want to look at a team we touched on briefly, which was the Longhorns. Let's see what the over under was again, Mike. We just need to remind ourselves here. I believe it was 9.5. Let's see.
I think it was 8.5.
Oh
Oh no,
no,
it was
nine
nine.
and a half.
Yeah,
Nine and a
okay.
half. But we like that because we're actually going to go under. We feel a bit negative about the Longhorns here. I'll let you take this one.
Yeah, and it's more of a gut feeling for me rather than I've got fairly limited knowledge of college football, but the, Texas to me tends to drop games they shouldn't drop. Like for example, I could see them beating the Buckeyes in week 2, and there's all this fanfare and Ferrari.
Yeah,
Arch Manning's the greatest thing since sliced bread. And then they immediately drop a game at Tennessee in week 4. And
yeah,
then that kind of sets the tone for their season, and they might only win 8 games. It's that
yeah.
they're very. I've said this to you before. They're very gettable, Texas.
Mm.
Like you can. I know they made a deep run a couple of years ago, but I don't know. I just think I think they could. I think they could drop some games here in SEC play, like at Texas A&M. I know Texas A&M aren't a great team, but it's at LSU against the
Mm.
Rebels that we've just pumped up. I don't know. I just think they could drop 4 or 5 games here, and it'd be a slightly underwhelming season. Despite, I think Arch Manning is going to have a fantastic season individually,
Yeah.
but that doesn't, for me, that doesn't sell me on the whole football team. Is just how I feel about it.
No, that's fair. I think it's all about the start as well. We mentioned that Ole Miss getting off could well get off to a flyer. This is a rough start here. I mean, the Buckeyes are a better football team. I mean, it is in Austin. It'll be a close game. Though. I'm sure it'll be a touchdown game. But you can see the Buckeyes winning and then
Yeah,
going to at Tennessee. Plus, then you have the Red River rivalry straight after that.
yeah.
They could lose 3 games to the start of the year.
If
It's
you,
not a it's not out of the question.
yeah, absolutely. If you drop the OSU game if you're Texas and then you lose to the Volunteers, in to be fair, that at Tennessee, even though they're not ranked, that's a tough game. And then
Oh
you've
no,
got
the Vols are 20 to start the year, to be
oh
fair.
sorry they are sorry I can't
Yeah.
read.
Yeah.
Um, but then you have to, as you say, you have to go into your biggest rivalry game of the season on a 2-2 start, and you've only beaten Texas State and UTSA. That
Mm,
that it starts. There is a path where this path gets quite slippery quite quickly, which
yeah.
is why I fancy this. It's at the end of the day, it's a bet, so I don't feel 100% convicted on it because otherwise you're not gambling. But I don't know. It's just a gut feel. I said to you, I wonder what their over under is, and it just smelled a bit to me. This one 9.5 or 9 was it?
Yeah, it's the hype, isn't it? It's Arch Manning's senior year. It's Texas, so I think it's a little inflated towards them. I wonder what the odds are actually on the. Okay, so actually their favorite. I mean, their odds on to go under that because it's
Mhm,
minus 145. So
mhm.
you will be taking a gamble going over. So yeah, I mean that makes sense because we weren't sure about them going over. But I mean, you know, you just got to win the bet, and for me, that's the more likely option, and the bookies do seem to agree.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, when you're a not only a prolific gambler like me, you also don't know a huge amount about college football. I played it safe there and went with the bookies.
all right, let's switch it up to the Big Ten here, because we're going to be negative Nellies about Indiana as well. Who come in very highly ranked, of course, and let's have a look at their over under here just quickly, so we can confirm it's 10.5. So if we're going to go under that, which again is the favorite spread here, the odds on spread, we need them to lose 2 games. I mean, this is a very meek start to the season. I mean, they'll go 4-0. They probably even beat Rutgers.
Yes.
But then we've got some interesting ones at Nebraska. Could be intriguing if that's a night game there. Much improved these days under rules rule. But then OSU and Michigan. I mean, that's a tough October stretch. And I
Yeah.
would point out at Washington later in the year is also going to be no walkover. So I wouldn't. Yeah, it's tough to bet against Signetti. This is one I feel less confident on, but I think if you're asking them to lose 2 games, they could definitely drop 2 of these games. It's definitely a reality.
I think they drop. I think they drop 3 games and make the playoff, and everyone's happy. I don't.
Mm,
I
yeah,
don't think we're actually forecasting a particularly dismal result here. I just think it's a very foreseeable. Like that stretch of Nebraska, to a much lesser degree Nebraska, but then Ohio State and Michigan all in a row.
Mm. Yeah.
That that is, you can say whatever you want about Michigan in the last couple of years, and we have, but ultimately that's in their starting 52 players. They're all going to be 4 or 5 star athletes, huge human beings. The same for Ohio State. Nebraska,
Yeah.
as I said, not to the same degree, but that those are going to be three quite physical, draining games back to back to back, and it more than
Yeah.
compensates for their weak start to the schedule.
Yeah.
I think you could even if you nick a couple of those games that we were in that 3 game stretch, you've then got to play the Golden Gophers, who have historically not always been a pushover, and then um, you've got to go away to the Huskies. So I just see them losing 3 games. I don't think they're a bad team. I just think they're going to lose 3 games. So I agree with you.
Yeah, no, I think so. They got Hoover over as a transfer from TCU. We were looking at him earlier, more of a pure passer, so I think they'll still be very effective on offense. But I think they lost some receivers to the draft, didn't they?
Yeah.
Their number one receiver went to the draft.
Yeah, they
So
lost Scleret on the back shoulder. Is it Scleret? Oh, I've forgotten his name now. The back shoulder guy on the outside, the senior,
yeah,
super
yeah,
senior. He's gone. I think he's actually in Oakland
hmm,
with Mendoza.
nice.
And then obviously their slot receiver, who, oh, for goodness sake, I can't remember. We just looked at him for the draft, but he was drafted highly. So yeah, unless Signetti is, to be fair, Signetti could have done his magic and replenished the stocks, but
Yeah.
you're losing 2 big contributors there on the offense plus Mendoza. It feels,
Mm.
I don't know. It feels like a lot to ask to come back and lose 1 game in the Big Ten. It's not like they're playing in the Big 12. It's going to be a tough divisional schedule on top. Even if their other games are not tough.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I like it. Just need him to lose two. So yeah, we're going to be a bit negative there, but
I'm going to
no,
say
I
they
think
lose 3. I think they lose 3 games.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, no, that's
maybe
fair.
I should put
I
some
like
money on
it.
that.
Yeah. Well, we're going to stick in the Big Ten. Just an honorable mention here because Michigan State had a paltry 3.5 over under spread. I mean, I was a bit surprised by this because I mean, Toledo will be a tough game, but it's at
Yeah,
home. Then you've got Eastern Michigan Eagles. So, I mean, they could probably go 2-0. And then you're just asking them to win 2 more games to get over the hump here with senior quarterback Adrian Childs still at the helm.
yeah.
So I think it's doable. I mean, the Big Ten schedule will be brutal. They'll probably get whipped in a lot of these games, but I don't know. The UCLA Bruins are there for the taking. The Rutgers Scarlet Knights. I'll just put a small side bet on here for Michigan State to get over 3.5 wins. I don't think it's too crazy.
No, the critical thing is that Toledo game is at home, because you don't
Yes.
want to go into Toledo. That Toledo football program, as an Eagles fan, seeing Mitchell come out there and what a good player he's been.
Yeah.
They also had the big safety come out in the first or early second round this year as well. They're well coached, especially on the defensive side of the football. So that will be an absolute slobber knocker, that game.
Oh, yeah.
Even in Lansing, Michigan, that'll be a low scoring affair, I think. So if they can survive that, they'll obviously thrash Eastern Michigan, and then
Yeah.
we're only asking them to win 2 games after that.
Yeah.
They'll get thrashed by Notre Dame, but you look at Nebraska and Wisconsin back to back, and then Illinois,
Mm.
and then Northwestern. In that, I can see them winning 2 of those games in that 4 game
Yeah.
stretch.
Yeah, for sure.
And then
Especially
if
if
you
they have some momentum after a 2-0 start.
Yeah, but if you look at the bottom end, they're going to have to do that because if you look at the bottom of the schedule, they're going to potentially lose every game to finish. So
Yeah.
them
Yeah.
to have a really fast start.
Exactly. Yeah. A fast start in Lansing. That's what we'll be betting on. All right. And one more honorable mention we just touched on quickly here, Mike, more just for amusement than anything, is going to be North Carolina football. Because they had a week over under. Let's just have a look at what it was quickly.
Just a
Four
meme.
and a half. Oh, and the odds are the same here for 4.5. So everyone's very much committed to them being at 4.5. I mean, you'd have to go under, wouldn't you? Just to
I haven't
just
looked
for
at it.
what you've seen so far.
I haven't looked at it in detail. Oh, obviously it's a dumpster fire there at the moment,
Yeah.
in Chapel Hill. But let me just have a look at.
Well, I mean, they start at at the Aviva in Dublin for the away game against the neutral game against the Horned Frogs, and
Yeah,
the
that's a
Horned Frogs
nightmare.
put 50 points on them last year.
Yeah, that
So
oh, that was a brilliant. I watched that whole game back in full. That
that
because
was so good.
I had it on my DAZN subscription. That was glorious. Um, yeah, who are they beating here?
The ETSU Buccaneers. I mean,
Yes,
didn't
they're
even look
beating
at
them
that.
at Clemson. At least it's a good time. At least it's not a night game in Clemson. So they've a Carolina Derby
Yeah,
there. Can they potentially get up for that? I think they,
this ACC is no joke these days. The Pitt Panthers and Duke Blue Devils, you play pretty good
yeah,
football the last few
I
years.
wouldn't pick them to win either of those games. The Pat
Yeah.
Narduzzi defense,
Mm.
given old Bill Fitz there. Yeah, I don't know. The Canes
Oh, the
in,
Canes.
on the
I'll
30 on
get the dub.
the Hurricanes on Halloween,
Ooh.
the Halloween Holocaust against the Hurricanes there. Yeah, that could be brutal.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, no, I think it's a good shout, mate. Honestly, well, because what you've got to think as well is if they go what 1-3 to start, let's
Yeah,
just say they do. I think that's feasible. That could happen looking at those fixtures, right? I mean,
yeah.
he's fired, right? If they go 1-3, they'll fire him.
Yeah,
And then you've got kids saying, we're looking to transfer now. Belichick's gone.
yeah,
All this kind of shit.
yeah.
They can
So
drop
you're
out.
betting on the total collapse of the House of Cards, basically.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, on the in
Yeah,
this. Yeah, and obviously it looks like the bookmakers are undecided what it's going to be. It's either going to be it's going to be a meek middle of the table season, or it's going to be a disaster, and we're
yeah,
betting on the disaster.
yeah, for sure. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I think we all hope for the disaster. That'd be hilarious, but yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, that's a good slate there. As we said, we usually pick these pretty well, so it'd be interesting to see how this turns out. We'll keep people updated as the season goes on our regular NFL spreads, just how this is progressing.
just out of interest, what's the because we still got 7 minutes here on our timer. So what's the what's the Buckeyes line? I actually haven't seen it.
Oh, it'd be big. Um,
It will be, of course, it will be.
ooh, well, it's actually
Nine
it's
and a half.
nine
Nine and a
nine.
half.
Hmm.
Let's have a
What is
look at
that
it.
much more odds? Oh, it's very odds on.
Yeah, well, all the money will be coming in on that at 9.5. But I want to see what's the schedule that they would say 9.5.
So have a
Because that
look.
does seem that surprised me. I thought it was going to be 10.5.
Well, I
I
think
mean,
they had Indiana away, which was the tough. We've already looked at Indiana
at
mid-October.
Texas, I guess they're
Uh,
saying is a loss as well. In the to set that line, you're counting that as a loss.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
At
But
Iowa,
then they could
at
still, in a 12 game season, you still lose two and win this.
Tom, at Iowa is OSU at Iowa is an absolute staple. I love that. That's going to
It's a
be
good game.
that's
Yeah.
going to be that's going to be a slobber knocker of a game.
Hopefully it's a night game. That'd be very fun.
Yeah.
Oh,
Uh,
at USC. Hmm. Interesting.
and then they've got the Ducks.
USC still have the quarterback, by the way.
You know what? They've got the Ducks as well in Columbus, which is a mercy for them because that would be a tough one on the road.
Yeah,
Did they
yeah,
win the regular season game against Oregon last year? I think they did, didn't they? I think Caleb Downs makes some plays.
yeah. I think so. I can't really remember,
I think they did. And then
but
Michigan,
yeah,
obviously,
mm,
in its usual slot there.
yeah. Well, you could see him dropping three potentially. You need that to happen.
Crucially,
You went under.
crucially, the Michigan game's at the Shoe this year, which is
Yeah,
essential.
no,
Oh,
that's a big difference.
oh, that could be. You know what, Tom? That could be 9 wins. That schedule,
It could, yeah. It
nine
depends
wins.
what Indiana looks like. I mean, we've said Indiana might be a step off what they were last year, but
Yeah, yeah.
if they keep this run going, then that is a tough game. Plus
No,
Texas and then Michigan and Oregon. So yeah,
yeah,
not
I
easy.
agree. I agree. You can't bet Indiana and OSU both to go under that. You're betting against yourself there. But
Yeah, true. Yeah.
But if you hadn't already put money on Indiana, you could conceivably see the Buckeyes doing 9 wins here. Actually,
Yeah.
looking at it, I won't tell my Buckeye supporting relatives that, but I'm actually more intrigued by this schedule than I thought I was going to be,
Yeah.
having not
Yeah.
looked at it yet.
No, no, neither did I. It's certainly, yeah, it has some banana skins for sure. Yeah.
Interesting. Who's going to win it all, Tom?
Ooh,
The whole shooting match.
it's hard to look past Georgia storming back at Georgia.
Yeah,
Um, well, I don't know. I think depends how Sayan's progression goes. Once the Buckeyes get in, if Sayan's playing good football, it'll be hard to bet against them as well. What about you?
yeah. It looks. I think the Buckeyes, if they do it, looking at this, they might have to do it the hard way.
Yeah,
I think there's some SEC teams that will have better records but be worse football teams, so they might have to go on the road in the playoffs. I think Georgia's a really good shout. I have to say. Uh,
yeah,
I don't know. I guess you have to include Oregon, Dante Moore, but I've never been
yeah,
convinced. I've never been convinced by him or that offense, to be honest. You need to do something else other than 60% RPOs you peak before you pique my interest there, winning a national title. Although
yeah,
having said that, Indiana did it last year, so there you go. What do
yeah.
I know?
True. Well, I'd like USC to be good this year as well.
Oh, really? Okay.
Their veteran quarterback. I mean, they've lost Lemon, which is huge. But I don't know. It'll be fun if USC can be competitive. They're usually highly ranked to start the year due to a bit of bias, I think. But when they
Yeah.
drop off as the season goes on. But let's see. Let's see if they can keep it up this year. They've
I mean,
well, they host Ohio State on Halloween as well. That'd be lovely.
that's a fun one. Yeah.
Yeah.
This really is the Lincoln Riley. He's got to be on the hot seat there, Lincoln Riley. Like they have
Yeah,
the
well, I mean, he's got a 3-year starter now, so no excuse.
Yeah, he's got to be. If they don't comfortably make the playoff this year, he's done. Surely
Yeah,
they're paying him like
yeah.
ridiculous amount of money, more as much as Kiffin, I think. Or,
Private
maybe a
jet
little.
money. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, there
All
we
right,
have it.
yeah, that's it. We'll shut up shop for now, place our bets, and then let's see how we go.
Yeah. Well, let's hope we go well.
Go well, and we'll be with you again in just a couple of weeks for our first NFL spreads. Can't wait.
That I know a bit more about. I'm back in my comfort zone there with the NFL.
Well, there's less people just moving around, a
Yeah.
100+ teams, which is easier to keep track of, to be fair.
Oh no, I'm not. Yeah, it's definitely easier on me. So yeah,
Yeah. All right. Until then, go well.
go well.